The Bear Who Collected Hats. Once upon a time, nestled deep within the sprawling emerald woods of Maple Valley, there lived a gentle bear named Bartholomew. Bartholomew was not like most bears. He did not spend his days searching for the sweetest honey or napping in the warm sunlight, nor did he lumber around looking for berries and fish. Bartholomew had a most peculiar passion. He loved hats. It all began one crisp autumn morning. Bartholomew was ambling along a winding forest path, enjoying the crunch of colourful leaves beneath his paws, when something unusual caught his eye. Perched on a mossy stump was a tiny red cap, just the right size for a squirrel. Curious, Bartholomew picked it up gently and examined the neat stitches and bright button on top. He placed it softly on his head and looked around, suddenly feeling a little taller, a little prouder, and very much amused. From that day on, Bartholomew began to notice hats everywhere he went. There were floppy sun hats hanging from low-hanging branches, woolen beanies tucked between rocks, and even a top hat floating down the river, which he rescued just in time with his big, furry paw. Bartholomew realized that the forest was full of hats, forgotten, lost, or left behind by the woodland folk. He decided to collect them, giving each hat a special place in his cozy den. Over time, his collection grew and grew. There were hats of every color and shape, straw hats with ribbons, tiny bonnets, fishermen's caps, and even a dazzling golden crown that sparkled in the firelight. Bartholomew would try each hat on in front of his mirror, smiling at the different reflections he saw. Soon the other animals of Maple Valley began to notice something unusual about Bartholomew. Whenever they saw him in the forest, he was wearing a different hat. One day he might be strutting along in a bowler hat. The next, he'd be perched on a log in a wizard's cap, looking wise and mysterious. The animals started to gather around whenever Bartholomew was near, curious about which hat he'd wear next. One blustery afternoon, as Bartholomew was adjusting a floppy sun hat on his head, a little rabbit named Pippa hopped over, her nose twitching with excitement. "Bartholomew," she asked shyly, "why do you love hats so much?" Bartholomew thought for a moment, his eyes twinkling beneath the brim. "Every hat tells a story, Pippa," he explained. "Some remind me of sunny days, others of friends I've met along the way. When I wear them, I feel like I'm stepping into a new adventure." Pippa's eyes grew wide with wonder. "Do you think I could try one?" With a gentle laugh, Bartholomew nodded and led Pippa to his den. Inside, the walls were lined with shelves, each one adorned with hats of all kinds. Pippa's mouth formed a small O of amazement as she gazed at the colourful display. "Go ahead," Bartholomew encouraged. "Pick any hat you like." Pippa looked around, her eyes darting from a tiny sailor's cap to a bright yellow beret. Finally, she chose a tall pointed hat covered in silver stars. As soon as Pippa placed the hat on her head, she felt a sense of magic and possibility. She twirled around, giggling, and imagined she was a great explorer, setting off on a quest to find hidden treasure. Word spread quickly through the forest about Bartholomew's marvelous hat collection. Soon, animals from all corners of Maple Valley came to visit, each eager to try on a hat and discover the story it held. There was Timothy the fox, who donned a detective's cap and began solving imaginary mysteries. Lila the owl, who wore a scholarly mortarboard and gave wise advice to her friends. And even the shy deer twins, Daisy and Dandelion, who giggled as they swapped flower crowns. Bartholomew loved seeing his friends find joy in the hats. He realized that the collection was not just for him, it was something to share. He decided to host a special event, the Great Maple Valley Hat Parade. On the day of the parade, the forest was abuzz with excitement. Streamers hung from branches, and the air was filled with laughter. Animals lined up, each wearing a hat from Bartholomew's collection. Some wore hats that matched their personalities, while others tried on something completely new. As the parade marched through the woods, Bartholomew led the way in his favorite hat of all, a patchwork cap made from pieces of all the other hats, symbolizing friendship and togetherness. The animals danced and sang, celebrating not just hats, but the stories, dreams, and friendships they represented. After the parade, Bartholomew noticed that some animals were sad to return their hats. He smiled and announced, "If a hat makes you feel happy, or brave, or adventurous, it should be yours to keep. A hat's true magic is in how it makes you feel." From then on, hats became a symbol of adventure and imagination in Maple Valley. Bartholomew still collected hats, but now he made sure to share them with everyone. His den was always open, and there was always a hat waiting for anyone in need of a little extra courage or joy. And so, the bear who collected hats became the bear who shared stories, laughter, and friendship throughout the woods. The animals of Maple Valley knew that, with the right hat, any day could become an adventure, and every friend could become a hero in their own story. And that is how Bartholomew's love for hats brought magic to the heart of the forest, reminding everyone that sometimes the smallest things can bring the biggest smiles.